As a new player or even a long-time Fallout 4 player, there will be a lot of weapons that you can easily miss at the start of the game. So in this video, I will be showing you a ton of great weapons that you can grab very early on in Fallout 4. But first, if you enjoyed this video and you want to see more Fallout videos just like this one, subscribe to this channel. Now the first early game weapon that you can easily miss can be found just outside of Sanctuary, which is where you will start the game. To get it, you will need to head out of Sanctuary using the wooden bridge, then go to the left and run along the water, until you see this pump in the water with a line running uphill. Interact with that pump and turn it on, then follow that line uphill, and here you will find a generator that you can open to find a stash of caps. And on the ground nearby you will find a body with a .44 revolver laying beside it and some ammo for it. There isn't really anything too special about this weapon other than it can do some really good damage, especially during the early game, and it will get even better as you modify it and unlock perks to make your pistols do more damage, or worst case it can be sold for some extra money. From here you will need to travel northeast to the robotics disposal ground to get the next weapon. Now before you enter this location, look to the right of the front gate, and here you will find a mini nuke. Then you can head inside of the area, and behind these cars you will find a free Fat Man. This is one of the highest damage output weapons that you will find during the early portions of the game, and it's extremely helpful to be able to pull this out when you're dealing with difficult enemies when you don't have many other options. And it can even be used to get some of the other weapons that I will mention in this video. Next up, we will need to head back towards the town of Concord. In the northern part of Concord, you will find this street with a row of houses, but we will be looking for the house with the orange barbecue out front of it. And on top of this barbecue, you will find a free combat knife. Again, there won't be anything super special about this combat knife, but it will be one of the best early game melee weapons due to its good starting base damage and its fast attack speed. After this, you can head into Concord and make your way to the museum in the middle of the town. When you're standing in front of that museum, go to the left, then run down the street until you reach the last house on the right. And in this house you will always find a raider body with a bolt-action pipe rifle laying beside it. It won't be the best gun around, but it is one of the very first scoped rifles that you will find in Fallout 4, and it uses a very common ammo type, allowing you to build into long-range rifle builds very early. But if you want a stronger scoped rifle, the only other early game option will be to go to the Red Rocket truck stop located right here on your map. When you get here, go behind the truck stop, then use the stairs to get on top of it, and at the end of the roof you will find a hardened sniper rifle. This will be a lot stronger than the scoped pipe rifle that we just found, and you can modify it to make it a lot stronger. So those were just some of the basic weapons that you can get to help you out right away, but there are some much better legendary and unique weapons that you can also get very early on in the game. The first one can be found at Walden Pond. When you get here, look for this drain pipe that you can enter, which will lead you into a raider hideout. After you clear out all of those raiders, you can make your way to this storage room, and here you will find a bunch of great items, including the Big Jim legendary melee weapon. Now this is an amazing early game weapon as it can do some good damage, and the perk on it will give you a 20% chance to cripple your target's leg. And on top of that, it is free and just requires you to take out 4 low-level raiders. So for the price of fighting 4 raiders, you will get a great legendary weapon, and a ton of other items that you will find laying around the area like consumables, ammo, and crafting resources, which will really help you out early on in the game. To get the next weapon on the list, head over to the Cambridge Police Station. When you get here, you will need to assist the Brotherhood of Steel by helping them defeat a large group of ghouls. But after this, you can talk to Paladin Dance, who will ask you for your help on a mission at the nearby ArcJet Systems location. And after this short side quest, you will be given the legendary Righteous Authority laser rifle. Now this thing is a beast during the early game, as it will do a ton of damage, and the perk on it will make it do even more damage if you're using it in VATS. The perk on the Righteous Authority makes the weapon do double damage on critical hits, and it will fill the critical meter 15% faster. So you can get critical hits in faster, and they will do double damage, so you can quickly take out difficult enemies. But even outside of VATS, the Righteous Authority will still melt everything you encounter during the early game, and it's a weapon you won't want to miss. To get the next weapon, head over to the Railroad HQ. After you agree to work with the Railroad, you can talk to Deacon and he will give you a side quest called Tradescraft. Now this is a pretty easy side quest that shouldn't take you too long, but at the end of it you will be given one of the best pistols in the game. That pistol will be the legendary Deliverer. Now this weapon will have a great starting base damage and it will come with a suppressor, which you won't find on many weapons during the early game. But it will also use a very common ammo type, and the perk on the Deliverer improves your chance to hit in VATS, and also reduces the cost of VATS by 25%, making this an amazing weapon for pistol and VATS builds. And by completing that Tradescraft side quest, you can also get the next weapon on the list if you have enough caps. All you will need to do is go back to the Railroad HQ, then talk to Tinker Tom, and he will be selling the Tinker Tom Special. This legendary sniper rifle will come with a scope and a suppressor, which by itself is worth buying in the early game, as it will take you a while just to be able to build suppressors for your rifles. But it will also come with a perk that will greatly increase your chance to hit in VATS if you aren't already in combat, but the cost of VATS will be increased. So this is a good early game weapon for players looking for a long range stealth build or a VATS weapon. The next weapon on the list can be found at the unmarked pump house location, which will be right here on your map to the right of Saugus Ironworks. When you get here, you will need to enter the pump house, and here you will find this small puzzle. By pressing the buttons on this terminal, you will enter a number above each button, and when the right code is entered, the door to the right will be open. The correct code is 10451. And in that new room behind the door, you will find the legendary Gainer revolver laying on the floor. So as you can see, this is a very easy legendary weapon that you can get at any point. But this revolver will have a great starting base damage of 48, and the perk on it will make it set targets on fire, dealing an additional 15 damage. To get the next weapon, head over to Pickman Gallery. When you get here, you will need to take out all of the raiders in this gallery as you make your way to the secret tunnels underneath the gallery. And here you will find Pickman being held up by a few more raiders. Now if you defend Pickman, he will give you a key to the safe in the first room of the gallery, and in that safe you will find the legendary Pickman's Blade. This is another amazing legendary weapon as it has a fast attack speed, and the perk on it will apply a bleed effect to your target, which will do an extra 25 damage to that target. But on top of that, it will come with a stealth blade, which will increase the damage the weapon does when you're doing sneak attacks. To get the next weapon on the list, head over to Swan's Pond. When you get here, approach the water, then shoot the white swan in the water to summon the swan boss. Now this may be a tough fight during the early levels of the game, but it's worth it as you can loot the Furious Power Fist off of Swan's body, and you can also use that free Fat Man to take out Swan pretty easy. This is an overpowered legendary melee weapon due to the perk on it, which will make the weapon do more and more damage every time you hit the same target. So as long as you're hitting the same enemy, the damage boost will stack very quickly, allowing you to easily defeat even the most difficult enemies in the game. And the final weapon on the list can be found at the nearby Hubris Comics. When you enter this building, take out all of the ghouls, then look for the display case near the door. And inside of that locked display case, you will find the legendary Grognak's Axe melee weapon. This is another one of the best early game melee weapons due to its good starting base damage, and the perk on it will make the weapon stagger your enemies more when you hit them, and it will apply a bleed effect to your target, which will do more damage to them over time. And you can even go to the top floor of this building to find the legendary Grognak's costume, which will increase your strength by 2 and increase the damage you do with melee weapons by 25%. So this costume will really work well with any of the melee weapons that I mentioned in this video to help you build an early game melee build. And those are a ton of great early game weapons that you don't want to miss in Fallout 4, but I would love to know which of them you like the most in the comments below. I hope you enjoyed this video and thank you for watching.